This is not my first Michael Bratton rodeo.
No, I think
I've been on the Michael Bratton podcast, or that SEC, whatever you call that stupid thing. I suffered through a couple of times.
Welcome in. Whoa, what is all that? Oh, my bad. Welcome in to the latest episode of that SEC podcast. I'm your host, Michael Bratton. 12 hours late, and here's Cousin Shane, everybody's favorite cousin. What's up, brother?
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
Oh, man. So, I don't know where you want to start, but could you kindly tell everybody your side of the story, why this show's about 12 hours late?
Well, I mean, I've got a list of things that happen. Obviously, you hear an echo because I had to rearrange the podcast because of a small flooding issue that happened in the room next door. So, long story short, we had a washing machine overflow, and man, it got everything, and didn't quite ruin everything in the pod room. I was able to save most of it, but took the opportunity to kind of clean it out, and that's why it's got this echo feel. So I will be fixing that. But in the meantime, I'm watching Tennessee get robbed on TV. You know, my daughter loses a credit card, and she's like, "You got to freeze the account." You know, my blood pressure was at an all-time high. I don't know why the Lord didn't take me last night because it was pretty damn close.
Yeah, shout out Cousin Tony. So these were some of the highlights of the comments. The show we were supposed to do last night. Cousin Tony said must have been a 2-hour wait time at the steakhouse. Cousin Fred said, "Did Shane have another cinnamon incident?" That was a good one. Again, Cousin Tony chimed in the way the Vols blew it tonight. I don't blame Shane because the rumor was at least this is what you conveyed to me, so I conveyed it to the cousins that you had destroyed your studio.
Yeah.
So those were the highlights from last night.
I was pretty pissed. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I had the games going on multiple TVs, so we're in and out, and we finally got everything up. But that in the process, I mean, even that last second half, tail end of it, I was just standing there, just praying that this somehow falls Tennessee's way, but clearly did not. Kudos to the fans showing up. Kudos to the officiating not showing up. And it was one of many. That's one of the things I have grown to love. I mean, I'm not going to bullshit you here. I am not a diehard basketball fan. You're listening to a basketball show, but I'm becoming one. And watching these SEC matchups, I see the lure, and it's almost like every night there's one or two games that come down to the wire that are just pure cinema. And I cannot believe we can watch it for so cheap. It's like, seems like this should be pay-per-view.
Right. Yeah. If the SEC was full of scrub teams, we would not be watching basketball. We would not be embracing it.
No.
And there's not a ton going on. We do got a little football to talk. We're going to talk Shane Beamer's. He got a contract extension, so stick around for that. But let's recap big action here on Saturday, Shay. Saturday's a big day for basketball. Number 1 Auburn defeats number 6 Tennessee 53-51. How about this stat, Shane? This is the second fewest points ever scored in a top 10 SEC showdown in basketball history. It wasn't pretty, unless you love defense. I mean, it was a defensive battle. Two of the best teams in the country going head to head. Auburn prevails. They were down a couple points late, but they dominated the final 2 minutes of the game. Tennessee had their opportunities.
Yeah.
Couple looks at the basket, could not convert. But and shout out Johnny Broom. My God, he came back from injury. He's been gone for 2 weeks, Shane. He looks like the best player in the country. He was a real difference maker for Auburn.
Yeah, I wish he would have took a few more days off, but he was definitely a big piece of that, and it was there was times I felt like Tennessee looked like the better program and just couldn't get threes to fall, couldn't get it was just one mistake after another. And of course, you could turn around and say the same thing with Auburn. There was opportunities to kind of stretch that lead, and they just couldn't do it. So it was a very sloppy game, but a game that I don't know. As a Vol fan, I feel like, if this were if this were at the Georgia Dome, if this was a neutral site, I feel like Tennessee may be getting this ball squad, But the crazy part about it is nobody can take their foot off the gas. You do. I mean, we're going to get to Vanderbilt here in a minute, but you do, and then you're going to get popped in the mouth. So this was a game that was dubbed the best game of Saturday, and I think it lived up to expectations.
Right, and I don't know if you saw this, Shade, but this one may be on Vol fans because Broom, the star for Auburn, he'd been injured.
Yeah.
His status was up in the air, and then apparently, I don't know how this happened, but some Tennessee fans found his vehicle. And they plastered it with Go Vols, Power T, and all this. And I think they did it outside of his home, too. Again, no idea how they tracked this down. But apparently after he woke up and he saw all that, he said, I'm playing tonight. So this one's on Tennessee fans because Auburn, I don't think, wins this game without Broom.
Is this a Eli Drink type situation?
The blanket.
Yeah, Pearl's boys out there just, after he's like, hey, I got to get away from this baby for a little bit. He said, I got an idea. Let's go down here and put some forks in the grass. No, I felt like that was a little esque there, but then I'm surprised nobody put two and two together why I wasn't here yesterday because it was a long drive back from the Plains,
All right, how about this one, Shane? Another classic, like you were saying. So many great matchups and teams in the SEC. Vanderbilt beats mighty Kentucky 74-69 at home. They stormed the court. This is the second top 10 win in a week for Vanderbilt at home. I don't know if you saw this. Shout out Chris Marler. Marler, we just finished our updated SEC power rankings, so we're going to put that video out when this one's over. But he brought it to my attention, Shane. There was Candace Lee, the Vanderbilt AD.
Yeah.
She's over there pleading with the students. Please don't storm the court. Let us use that money for NIL purposes. They said, the hell with that. We're going to storm his damn court. So shout out Vanderbilt and their coach. Shane found this clip. Let's kick it over to him on the fans storming the court, costing them all this money.
Court stormings does it take for it to become an expectation and not a surprise anymore? You guys do anything?
Yeah, I mean, there's big picture things I wanted to happen around here, and at one point I want it to be where we're not surprised or we don't feel like the underdog in these games, and we're going into them knowing that our program's good and we expect to win. We're not there yet, so let the fans enjoy it. We got to start a GoFundMe page or something to pay fines. We'll figure it out. But at the same time, I'm happy for them. What a memory for them. I told our guys, let's make a memory. For all those people cheering for Vanderbilt today, they made a great memory.
And that's Vanderbilt's Mark Byington. He may be the leader right now, Shane, for SEC Coach of the Year, first year with the program.
Yeah.
Doing a hell of a job. They scored the final 6 points of that game. Kentucky's now lost 2 in a row. This is still a very good Kentucky team, but it's a theme. It's hard to win on the road now.
Well, I mean, and you could say maybe it's a really good Vanderbilt team. I mean, he says he's trying to create, a new culture there in Nashville, but, less than a week, we've stormed the court twice because of upsets. Maybe they're not so much upsets anymore. I mean, you got to remember Vandy's sitting there, with 4 losses for the year, and there was moments. I mean, Kentucky fans know. I mean, you have 17 turnovers. You're probably going to lose the damn ball game, especially on the road. And but it doesn't take away from the accomplishments that Vanderbilt has, and as making the push. I think they said now 13 SEC teams are looking to get in the tournament right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild times right now. And speaking of wild, how about this one? A&M, Texas, greatest rivalry in the SEC, perhaps. Texas comes storming back. Shane, they were down 22 points. They win at 70-69 to get the final bucket. I believe that was their first lead of the entire game, was the final shot of the game. Shout out Trey Johnson, Texas freshman, first freshman to score 30 points in a game for the Longhorns since Kevin Durant. Of course, we all know who that is. But, man, A&M, they're the worst three-point shooting team in the conference, but they were lighting it up. They made 8 first-half threes to give them that huge lead, but who cares if you had the lead if you blow it,
Oh, buzzy boy. You know, I would have been buzzed if I blew a 22-point lead. You know what I'm saying? Because again, it's the heartbreak. I feel like it's kind of following, like a dark cloud is following A&M here. You know, you had an opportunity, not just a rivalry here, but you had an opportunity to put this squad away. A Texas team that feels like it's getting better as the season goes on. You know, we've been, again, new to the sport. I've been told, you know, when this all started, that Texas has some of the best talent. And it's like, well, yeah, but it's not really showing up. But now it's you saw it with the Mizzou game. Now you're starting to see it with this A&M game. Texas is another one that found its way into the mix and getting to the tournament.
Right, they're one of those teams firmly on the bubble, and that's the
Yeah.
great thing about being in the SEC. You can easily play your way off the bubble and into the field. So Texas is right there. Texas A&M, still a very good team.
Good to see Arch Manning at the game. You know, I saw Mac Brown coming over there, giving him a handshake. So I miss college football.
Any way we can swing it to football, we
Yeah,
will.
I know.
You know what?
Just throw that in there. I saw it and I was like, man, when is spring? You know.
And then another great game, Shade, Mississippi State, South Carolina. That one went into overtime. Mississippi State was up big. South Carolina made a furious comeback. I thought they were going to win the game, but they did force overtime, unfortunately, for the Gamecocks. Mississippi State dominated in the overtime period. 65-60 was the final score of that one. South Carolina they can't get out of their own way. They may be the worst team in the conference, but again, worst in the conference, and they're still pushing the number 14 team in the country. Should give you an indication of how tough this league is.
Yeah, they may be the most dangerous, shitty team in this conference. You know, it's like, if you think about it, South Carolina, another heartbreaker at home, but, you know, I think I heard a stat that they've lost 5 games by less than 5 points. So, I mean, this could be a 15-5 squad right now with wins over Florida, with wins. I mean, we're talking about a different outcome. We're talking about South Carolina being one of those tournament teams. So, yeah, you cannot take your foot off the gas, because Gamecocks is another one of those. And it's tough. You know, the kids are back. This is the second game that they've got to go watch. And it's like, I've been there, you know, I've been there with other sports. It is tough when you just keep putting time and effort and money, and then this is what you get.
Yep. And speaking of Florida, they were dominant, Shane. They just destroyed Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
89-59. Florida has now beaten Georgia 12 times in a row, Shane. That's the longest streak by either team in that great rivalry. They've been playing basketball together since 1923. Mike White, the Georgia coach, he was Florida coach. He's now 0-6 against his former team, the Gators there.
Yeah.
And, man, Florida, they got a case to be made. I get it. Auburn's number 1. Alabama, we'll get to them in a minute. They're looking good. But I think Florida's making its case to they may be the best team in not only the SEC, but maybe the entire country the way they're playing.
That's a good point, man, because there's moments in this season that you're watching 10 minutes of Florida basketball, and you're just like, this is the best team in the country. And I felt like there was maybe 15, 20, almost 20 minutes of that with this game. Florida was just dominant, all, you know, from the perimeter, on the inside, anything and everything that could go Florida's way did. This was a hell of a game for them, and again, kind of cemented that for me that this is. You know, we talk about Auburn's, we talk about Tennessee's and Kentucky's, but this Florida team, man, there's just something about them. They've got all the pieces, I think, to go the distance.
Yeah, a lot of shooters, a lot of defense. They got a hell of a team. How about Ole Miss at Missouri, Shane? That was a great game. Mm-hmm. You're a Missouri fan. You won at 83-75. Mizzou made 11 three-pointers. How about that, brother?
Yeah.
They did not trail the final 33 minutes of the game. Shout out Cousin Shane, 15th home win in a row, started by Cousin Shane.
That's right.
He was there to start the streak. Let's give him all the credit in the world. Ole Miss has now lost 3 in a row, and Ole Miss is 1-4 against ranked teams this season. So Missouri, nice bounce back after the Texas loss. They needed a win, and they're getting it here to remain as a top 25 team.
Yeah, comfortable win too. I mean, I felt like Mizzou even made a few mistakes here and was able to overcome it just by finally hitting shots. And like you said, the perimeter extremely dangerous. But Mizzou is another team. I saw a stat. They're already at 5 more wins in the SEC than they got all last year. So things are pretty good over there in Mizzou.
Yeah, and then also good at Alabama, of course, Shane. They beat LSU 80-73. How about this? This is wild, though. This is, I don't know how many people saw this because it was all at the same time as Tennessee Auburn, but Mark Sears, they're All-American. They sat him the entire second half, and Nate Oates after the game said, "Hey, we're just putting the guys out there that give us the best chance to win." It wanted some more defense because the game was tied. Shane, I believe Alabama was a 17-point favorite going into the game. It was tied at halftime. So defense was not to be found in the first half. Alabama kind of locked it down in the second half. But interesting. I think Nate Oates, I think he may be the best coach in the damn SEC. He's got Alabama rolling. Yeah,
I wish I got that clip he was talking about. I mean, I don't know the whole situation there, but it did feel a little I don't know. I kind of like it, man. I ain't gonna like it. For the longest time, now that we're paying kids, Mike, there's got to come a point where you just say, hey, if you're not doing your job or you're not 100% committed, and I'm not saying that's the situation, but
right.
I kind of like a coach slapping the hand of a player every now and then, just to kind of, and that's the kind of coach he is, and that's I think part of the reason why so many people like him or hate him, because he kind of. He does it a little bit different than others.
Right. And this is the time to get those lessons in before the NCAA tournament, before the SEC tournament. You got to get your team right now so that you can excel when it really matters in this sport. You know what?
That's right, man.
Talking like we're pros of this sport already,
Watch out, Ron Slay. Here I come.
And then last one, Shane, bet heartbreaker here for the Hogs, Shane. Oklahoma goes into Arkansas, beats them 65-62. Arkansas got down big. They made a big run, and then late kind of imploded, as they have unfortunately done time and time again. Neither one of these teams, I don't think, is very good. But this was an opportunity for Arkansas, who just got their first conference win, to get some real momentum.
Yeah.
Heading into this monumental Kentucky matchup, but they couldn't do it.
Yeah, I don't know who made the deal with the devil, but they just cannot have nice things in Arkansas, It just feels like, I don't know, maybe Aaron Brockovich needs to get up there and investigate that Tyson chicken factory or something. Something is not right.
Hey, check this out, Shade. So on Tuesday, we got some SEC basketball.
Yeah.
Number 9 Kentucky at number 6 Tennessee.
Big.
That's going to be a big showdown. We also got Wednesday, of course. We got number 4 Alabama at number 14 Mississippi State.
Yeah.
And suddenly Red Hot Texas at number 16 Ole Miss. That's also a Wednesday game. With number 1 Auburn at LSU. That's also a Wednesday. And then the other Tuesday game, South Carolina at Georgia, and Oklahoma Tech at number 13 Texas A&M. So a lot of basketball this week here in the conference. Some big time matchups and a couple top 15 matchups.
Absolutely, a ton of action. That's the thing. There's no downtime in basketball. So another thing, I was looking at some of these teams that are kind of catching fire right now. You look at Vanderbilt, and you're like, man, they got an opportunity to do some special stuff here.
Right.
But then you look and they got, in the next 5 games, they got Florida, Auburn, and Tennessee. So it's like, man, we're going to really find out if the doors are serious or not. So I'm just, like I said, I'm excited to look forward to the schedule. I'm excited to watch these games. So be sure to check that out Tuesday.
Yeah. I wanted to hit on Shane. Shane Beamer, our second favorite Shane here, but he just got a contract extension, Shane. He's got a $50 million deal headed his way. He's going to make over $8 million annually. He's signed up now through the 2030 season. Yeah. I didn't realize this, Shane. He's got the same record as Steve Spurrier at this point of his South Carolina career. So doing a hell of a job. Thoughts on that? And before you answer again, he's going to make $8 million starting this year, and it'll go up slightly each year, like 8.15, then 8.25. So goes up by 100,000 every year. But put this into consideration. These are the coaches ahead of them right now. I still think South Carolina's getting a hell of a deal because you got King Kirby at $13.2 million, Steve Sarkisian 10.6, Kayla DeBoer $10 million for Alabama, Brian Kelly $9.9 million at LSU, and then the worst contract perhaps in all of sports, Mark Stoops $9 million a year, and then Lane Kiffin, Drink, and Heupel also all at $9 million. So he's right under all those guys. And I think that's still a good deal for South Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, for the best coach in the SEC, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm overcorrecting a little, but I do. I feel like Beamer is one of those coaches that doesn't get mentioned a lot when you talk about great SEC coaches that we currently have.
Yeah.
But you look in here, this is South Carolina. It is, statistically, they're going to have one of the toughest schedules. They're going to have one of the toughest times to recruit. They're in the middle of multiple universities there. And what Beamer has been able to do, and coming into 2025 with arguably maybe one of the best defenses in the country, paired with a Heisman candidate, with wide receivers taking that next. I mean, there are a lot of cool, magical pieces that are lining up for Shane Beamer. So it's a good time, I feel, to get him this money because he may be asking for more next year.
Yeah, it's almost a situation where you're buying low before the stock skyrockets. You know,
that's exactly. Let's give this kid a raise now.
Yeah, so I got no issue with that. I think that was a wise move by Carolina. Lock up your coach. I don't think he was really in danger of going anywhere, but this kind of ensures it. Keep him, again, he's signed up now through 2030 to a deal that's not going to break the bank either. This may ensure that Shane Beamer is at South Carolina for as long as you really want him at South Carolina, if that makes sense. You know what?
Yeah, absolutely. And did you hear about Nick? I don't know if you got that.
Oh, yeah,
clip.
Nick Harbor.
Yeah.
I forgot. I don't have the clip, but what did he say? He's not doing track in the spring. He's focusing only on football.
Focused on football, and he wouldn't comment if he's doing away with track altogether. But I think that's important because you got to remember that was one of the talking points at SEC Media Days was him skipping the spring, and how does that affect him in football? And I don't know. I feel like there's an extra level of commitment this coming up season because I'm not saying it's their year. But they're a team that's got some pieces that are very intriguing that, when you got Nick Harbor, a guy that's an ultimate track star, an Olympian, that's saying, you know what, nah, I'm not doing it. I'm coming out here and playing some college football in the spring. I think that bodes well for what Shane Beamer's the culture he's trying to create there in Columbia.
Right, but going back to what you said about Alabama basketball, I think you could potentially apply this to South Carolina football. And again, I'm completely speculating. But I'm not naive. We all know that Nick Harbor's getting paid.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't have a clue what he's getting paid. But whatever it is, I wonder if there's something in there that says, hey, I'm sure he wanted more money.
Yeah.
And they may have said, well, we're happy to do that, but you need to commit fully to football. I mean, if this is what's happening, I think that's completely fair. If you're going to ask for more money, to ask for more commitment. I just wonder if behind the scenes that took place, and if it did, I'm glad that they've they're all on the same page because you're right. That is going to be something huge for Gamecocks next season. They need weapons around Lenora Sellers to really step up to take them over that 9, try to get to 10 wins, try to get to the college football playoff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to take that away from Nick. I'm going to say, you know what? They offered him more money to do track, and he said no. No, keep your damn money. I'm playing football. I was a track star.
Is that right? Javelin throw?
No, shot put and discus. I said, what can I do and not run and join this track team? And they're like, oh, this. And I was, of course, really bad at it.
Yep. Hey, well, anything else? A little bit of a short one here, but anything before we hop off the line?
No, man. Look forward to seeing everybody. I know everybody's pumped up about the NFL games coming up. Of course, we got the AFC, NFC championship. So I don't know who you're pulling for, but good luck on those. And again, keep your notifications on, because with football news, basketball news, if anything crazy happens, we're going to just jump on random times. And so you don't miss the action. You'll be notified. Just have those notifications on. But yeah, what another kind of awesome day in Saturday. I mean, it didn't end well, but all in all, that's the beauty of college basketball, is you're going to get another shot or two. So I'm looking forward to the games this week.
Hey, thanks for reminding me too. Shout out to our buddies, our friends over at Prize Picks, Shane. They got a freebie coming up.
Whoa.
Jaden Daniels, more or less than a half a passing yard. Come on. That's a guaranteed daily fantasy winner over at Prize Picks. So if you want to head over to Prize Picks, promo code SEC, play 5, get 50. We're already giving you a free winner over there. So you just got to pick one other, and you're going to be cashing in over at Prize Picks. So that was a good opportunity to plug real quick.
Nice.
Hey, it's a business after all. But
yeah. You're not used to working this early in the day, are you, Mike?
Well, yeah, no. Enjoy the football. Savor it. I know it's not SEC, but it's all we got. We got 3 more games, and then we're into the dark. Oh, hey, shout out JR.
There he is.
Was not expecting that. He's probably like, what the hell are these bastards doing on in the middle of the day? Appreciate you,
Thank
JR.
you, guys.
And Rampart Rod just got gifted a membership. Rampart, welcome to the family. Thanks to cousin JR, of course. But man, I feel bad about like logging off now. But we were just wrapping up here.
Yeah, I mean, well, you could come over here and help me finish this pod studio if you want.
I don't feel that bad.
Beyond that door is a list of honeydews, and so if you want to make this a marathon, we can continue, Mike.
No, let's get you off. Let's get you. I don't want you to get in trouble there at home. So
yeah. Oh, also, I was thinking, we're kicking some stuff around here. I mean, we know football's our baby, and basketball's like that stepchild that we got, and we love it. No, I'm just kidding. I love it, but I'm just saying it's. We're looking at other things to get into. So one of the things we've been kicking around is some gaming. So maybe getting on with some of the cousins, doing some college football 25 until the 26 comes out, of course. So maybe we do something like that. So that's why I was telling you about the notifications. Just kind of keep those on, and whenever we come up with some hair, or maybe you got an idea to throw in there, you'll be notified. So, all right, I'm rambling. That's as long as I go, Mike.
Yeah,
Sorry.
let's get off before we get emotional here. But we do appreciate you. Middle of the day. Sorry for the late notice there, but things happen. We do appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right, see you guys. Go Vols. Doesn't Bruce
Hey,
got a
buddy,
barbecue to get
this
to?
beer's for you, Mike, and Cousin Shane. That SEC podcast loves the Pirate, and the Pirate loves that SEC podcast. Hail State.